Hi, thanks for dropping by. It's 11:58 on Saturday the 6th of June 2020, and this afternoon I'm in the garage fixing a centre stand on my 1975 BMW R75/6. Now I appreciate that subject is not going to set the world alight, but if you've got an old BMW Airhead or you're planning on getting one, this may be of some interest. If you haven't and you're not, you might want to move on now. To give you some background, it seems the centre stands on these old BMWs can be problematical, and there's certainly a few people on the internet having issues. The common fix seems to be to fit a standard nut and bolt, which doesn't work. So today I'm going to show you my fix, which does work. In order to do that, I'm going to have to scrabble it around on the floor. So first off, we'll get changed into my overalls. Well, that's never happened before. Let's move to the bike. You can see that I have a standard M10 bolt and nut holding the centre stand in position. When these left the factory in 1975, this inner lug would have been threaded and there's a single bolt either side doing the same job. For some reason those threads get stripped out and people replace with this standard setup. The problem here is that putting a nut on the back reduces the space between engine and frame, so this return spring cannot pass. So the centre stand is designed in such a way that when it gets past a certain position on the way down, it springs down, which it can do at the moment, but coming back up, it also springs up. Now you can see that the spring is not passing the nut, so the spring up feature isn't working. What people then tended to do was zip tie or strap the stands up. I'll just show you from the other side the action of the spring and how it's not passing behind the nut. And we'll do the side view. So you can see as I lift the stand that the spring, which should be moving upwards, is now being bent round the nut. So I'll take this centre stand off and I'll see you at the bench in a couple of minutes. Okay, centre stand is off. It's quite a simple setup. One stand, two nuts and bolts, which I should be replacing, and two bushes which go between the bolts and the centre stand itself. Now this stand comes off very easily. What we need to add at this point is that to get access to the stand, you need to take your exhaust pipes off. That's a simple job, but what you must do is get the correct tool for the exhaust nut. I'm lucky, I've got a genuine BMW spanner. Obviously that fits on there absolutely perfect. The guy before me decided to use a hammer and punch to get one of these off, so a lot of these wings were bent over. I've had to replace these nuts. The other thing to say is, and it's a warning that you must heed, that if these nuts don't come off smoothly, stop trying. If they've picked up and seized, you will not get them off. No amount of WD-40 plus gas or any other sort of anti-seize is going to get them off. They have to be cut off. There are links and videos on the internet showing you how to do that. You basically have to cut through and then drive a chisel in to break the nut apart and to pull it off. If you continue to try and undo it when it's seized, then you're just going to damage the thread on the cylinder head and then you're in for a bigger bill. Getting back to the centre stand, I should be replacing the standard nut and bolt with this. Now I've had these custom made by a friend. I did get a price of a guy on eBay. I was having 6 parts made in all and he wanted £72, which was pretty good. So for these 4 parts you're looking at less than £50, which for custom parts is good. Basically these have been made from standard bolts. So this was an M10, it's had any thread on there skimmed off, and on the end here we have an M8 thread. That mates with this custom nut. Again, this has been turned down to M10 clearance because the lug on the inside of the frame has been stripped out. It was M10 and now it's obviously clearance, and then again the corresponding M8 thread put down there, and the thickness of this is designed so that it will slot up between frame and engine and then drop in the back of the frame. Okay, so I've got the centre stand back in position. I've just used the standard bolt to help with location. I can take the special nut and drop it in behind the frame, find the hole in the lug, and then that drops in like that, and we'll put the new bolt and washer onto that. I'll just nip it up for now. Okay. And then we'll move to the other side. Same process. Put the modified nut into the back of the lug, like so, and fit the modified bolt. And again, we'll nip up. I'll come back to the first side. I'll now just nip that up. As I said at the bench, we don't need to clamp the centre stand. The centre stand needs to run freely, so you can see that this one drops under its own weight. I now need to reconnect these springs, which I shall do with the bike on the stand. There you go. Springs are now reconnected, bike is back on its side stand, so we can see the centre stand in action. In its down position, or its nearly down position, you can now see that there is much more clearance here between frame and engine, and this spring can pass. So when the stand's going up, you get to a certain point and it springs up on its own, and then likewise coming down, it springs down on its own. Looking from the front, you can see that action. Looking from the side, if you recall before, the spring was being bent round that nut that was there. Now the nut's gone, the spring can take its proper path and go up next to the frame, and we have proper operation of the centre stand. So there you go. Old airhead centre stand now fixed, ready to have the exhaust pipes put back on and go for a ride. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give me a like, maybe drop a comment in. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Flag on the play. Let's get rid of that. Put the little logo back up there. That's better. Okay, thanks for staying with me. Now that video was shot last week, my first garage video, I hasten to add, but during editing, some mistakes became apparent that I'm not happy with. There may be more. If you spot anything, let me know. But to avoid the, no doubt, millions of comments on YouTube, I'll address the ones that I've spotted now. Number one, at 3 minutes 48 seconds, obviously I should have said penetrating fluid and heat and not anti-seize. You apply anti-seize when you're assembling something, not when you're trying to take it apart. Number two, at 5 minutes 43 seconds, don't forget to grease your bushes and bolts. Mine are now greased, you'll be pleased to know. Number three, at 6 minutes 48 seconds, tightening the custom bolts. Torque is debatable. I can't find any reference in my workshop manuals to the original M10 bolts, which may be why the threads get stripped out. These new bolts are M8 and wall thicknesses are quite small, so they don't want to be tightened too much. If I was asked to put a figure on it, I would say no more than 10 Newton meters. In addition to that, if I go over to the bike, pick this camera up, we can now see that the exhaust pipes are on. So our centre stand bolt is there. If that came loose, it can't come out because the exhaust pipe's in the way. And finally, number 4, at 6 minutes 57 seconds, I said, as I said at the bench. Now that was clearly a lie because I didn't actually use the clip that I was talking about in the final cut. So there you go. I may shoot the video again if and when the fix stands the test of time, and also because you may have noticed that I've acquired a shiny new hydraulic bench in the last week. And as I said before, please give me a like, feel free to comment, good or bad. But that's it for now. I'll see you next time.